Welcome to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, powered by JM&E. You're watching either on YouTube at the Houston Roundball Review channel or on Roku via the BS3 Network. Y'all know who I am. I'm KG Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review, and these two gentlemen with me are two of the members of the Let's Rage Coogs family. First up, my brother Dunlap. How you doing, man? Long time no see.
Man, all is well. All is well. Health, kids healthy. Can't complain. How about you guys? Good to see you guys.
As well, and also Andy Yanez. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Kris. Thank you for the invite again on the platform at the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. Like I said last week, we're getting more excited for college football heading in there, and we had another bucket off the checklist with Big 12 Media Day, so a lot to discuss.
Lots to discuss, and we are hoping that a fourth member, Fluff McKeever, will be joining us as we are recording this. And he is, well, I'm not going to give it away where he's going to join us from if he's able to make it here, but we'll just keep on talking until Fluff does join us. But if you're watching on Roku via the BS3 Network, thank you. If you have Roku, you don't have it yet, just download bs3network.com or download BS3 TV, or you can go to bs3network.com or bs3tvlive.com and watch great shows like this one live or on demand. Dayon, you first, brother. I want to get your thoughts, man. I'm going to kick it around a lot. We're going to talk Coogs. We're all Coogs. We're Coogs alums here.
Oh, yeah.
But your thoughts, first things first, on the Coogs who got drafted. Emanuel Sharp got drafted. Kingston Flemings got drafted, and Cenac got drafted. And then one person who didn't get drafted. Any of those four, Milos Uzan did not get drafted. Any of those four surprise you with what happened, where they went, and where they didn't go?
And first, congratulations to all those young men achieving their dreams, hard work, and all the sweat equity that they put in to achieve those dreams. I know they're ecstatic, and I'm super happy for them. We'll be cheering for them for years to come. Um, I think Kingston went to a really, really, really good spot in Atlanta. Can learn from CJ McCollum for some time and got a good young core over there with James Johnson and Gildas Alexander and all the young core that they have over there in Atlanta that they're building. I think Chris Cenac actually went into a really good spot that fits him well, a team that wants to spread the floor, that can shoot the ball, where he'll be able to show his versatility, pick and pop, pick and roll, and kind of be in that Al Horford type of role,
Mm-hmm. Good
take
call.
advantage of mismatches and stuff like that. I think that's a good spot for him. Emmanuel Sharp, I think for San Antonio, Sacramento, that's trying to establish a culture. You got a culture. I mean, you got somebody like Emmanuel who's going to come in, work hard, down on the floor, play defense every possession like this is last. And that's how you can kind of build on that. Like, this the type of players and workers that we want for a young team who's still building. Definitely surprised by Emmanuel. I can't lie. I mean, I think Coach Sampson kind of knew it based on the type of calls that he was getting because he started to talk about it a lot right before the draft. But I'm still surprised that Emmanuel got drafted. Yeah, really surprised.
Were you more surprised E-Man got drafted and Milos didn't get drafted, or surprised equally on both?
Nah, because I think Emmanuel had the better year, and I think the spurts and what he proved that he can do from a defensive standpoint and bring it, being that spark plug, just that energy, what you need defensively, then his ability to stretch the floor. I think he was very consistent in that role throughout this last year. And just from scouts, we'll see his progression from year to year to year to year. So not so surprised that he got drafted before Milo. I thought he would potentially be one of those guys who got picked up undrafted and
Mm-hmm.
went to in the summer league, balled out and did everything kind of like you see like the Nate Hiddens of the world of recent who get picked up late and kind of try to stick. But shouts out to him, got a 2-year guaranteed contract. So I'm very excited for him.
And you chime in too. I think Emmanuel and Darius Acuff could could work well together. What do you think?
Go back.
I,
Either
I,
one of y'all.
I think 100% they can. We saw what Emmanuel was able to do with the variety of different guards that he had in his time with Houston, from Marcus Sasser, Jamal Shed, to this past season with Kingston Flemings, and even last year with Milos Uzan. He has a lot of experience under his belt playing with different types of guards, and Emanuel Sharp has a skill set that will complement any guard on the other side of the floor, and he's a floor spacer. He's able to knock down 3-point shots, like Dayon said. He's able to defend. He can rebound. Um, and I think that could be a great backcourt potentially for the Kings. And one thing that Dayon also mentioned is Sacramento kind of cleaning house a little bit with them waving DeMar DeRozan the past few days. It looks like they're trying to hit the reset button, and Emmanuel Sharp is a great player to have just in terms of that environment whenever you're trying to reset a culture. And like I said last week for Kingston Flemings, I love the fit with him in Atlanta for the same reasons that Dayon said, just in terms of a good young team that caught people by surprise this past season with not only making the playoffs but pushing the Knicks in that first round series. And so far, Kingston Flemings has looked real good in summer league, including his debut when he had 14 points, 9 assists, and only 1 turnover. And that's something that he's done really well in the limited summer league games that he's played in so far. Is he's doing what he did at Houston. He's dishing out the ball, and he's keeping those turnovers low, and that's only going to benefit. That's going to translate really well to the pros for Kingston Flemings.
D, you were high on Darius Acuff for much of his freshman season, so just your thoughts on and he and Emmanuel as teammates.
I think it's like Andy said. I think it's something that we can see. I think it's a good match, and not only for Darius because he's going to get that work in practice from Emmanuel. I think that's what's going to really help him even more. But also, same thing with Emmanuel. So I think they can play well side by side. Emmanuel, he's unique because he can guard point guards and get Darius off point guards depending on the matchup. Also, he can guard bigger wing players, whether it be like small forwards, some small forwards. He's strong enough, agile enough, and so I think Emmanuel can stick in the league. I think that jump shot get a little bit more consistent, knock it down a little better clip consistently. And but I like it. I like it. I think if you look at that, I think they kept Doug Christie, right? It's their head coach. I still
Yes.
believe Doug Christie
Yes,
is
sir.
their
Yep.
head coach. And just think about Doug Christie. He was tough. Somebody who was a role player, tough, knock down shots. And so I think he sees some of himself in the manual.
All right, Dayon. I'm dying to get your thoughts on the trade, man. The Jaylen Brown trade to the Sixers.
Ooh,
I mean,
man, surprising to say the least. But man, it was surprising that they traded him for Paul George to the Celtics. Really, I mean, to the 76ers. That really was surprising. They traded him in conference in division. That was the biggest surprise because not only are they trading him, but they trade him. They like we don't think that you can beat us. That's what I get from that.
yeah.
Regardless to the team who just beat us, no matter if you with them and we're healthy, we got our guy JT. They think that they can beat them, beat Jaylen Brown. So that's what I took from it. And I think Paul George at this stage of his career, he fits well in what they want to do. Inspiring contract, someone who can catch and shoot, and still face the floor at times. He can get it off the dribble a little bit here and there. Have him spurts, but have a couple good games. And so I was surprised. I think the Sixers, indeed, stay healthy. They're going to be real contenders.
Are you buying, and Andy, you chime in with this as well. We didn't touch on this part of it. Are either one of y'all, either or both, buying the spin, the talk about why they traded Jaylen Brown,
I was
the
thinking, man,
analytics part, whatever?
I'm not buying the analytics part. What I notice is they throw that code word analytics out there and use other code words to try to diminish his character, diminish the type of person he is. So like he's arrogant because he knows he's a smart man. And so it was a lot of code words that I saw in the media to try to spin and portray his image in certain ways that they use for certain players. And I think that was strategically done and purposely done for certain outlets to try to do that.
Yeah, it's
Andy?
clear. It's clear that Jaylen Brown soured in the Boston Celtics organization, whoever it might be, whether it Brad Stevens or anyone else, when it's towards the top of the Boston Celtics organization. But I can't remember if it was I think it might have been on the Jeff Teague podcast. But just leading up to the trade, like Dion said, there was a lot of stuff being leaked about why Boston wanted to move away from Jaylen Brown. And when you look at it from a from just logically, again, we touched on this last week of what he was able to do for the Celtics back in 2024. He was the Finals MVP for the Boston Celtics in 2024. He just helped Boston be the second seed in the Eastern Conference with Jason Tatum missing most of the season. They don't do that without Jaylen Brown. And whatever it is that happened behind closed doors, clearly people at the top of the Boston Celtics organization, they felt like it would be addition by subtraction. And like Dion said, it's a little bit of arrogance to send them to Philly, which we touched on this last week. It just makes no logical sense. Out of all the teams, if you really were going to trade them to keep them within one of the teams that, if healthy, they're obviously going to be competing for those top spots in the Eastern Conference. And again, the team that just knocked you out of the playoffs,
It's not sure out of the playoffs.
it makes no sense. And I'm still a week later trying to wrap my head around why Boston made that decision, and especially when they could have waited.
That's my biggest thing is why now? I mean, okay, if you have in your mind you don't like his podcast, his Twitch, excuse me, his social media, what he's saying, if the offers aren't great right now, why not just let him play in October, November, play well, because he's gonna put up numbers, and then try to trade him. I mean, for what they got for him, I
I
just
think
don't
the
see the
writing was
rush.
on the. I think the writing was on the wall, in which no matter if they waited or not, teams knew that they were shopping him. But it don't matter for that caliber player. They got good compensation. So I don't even think it's that. I just think that, like Andy said, just the logic of trading him to the team you're trading him to is hard to fathom. Because I do think they got a good compensation back, picks, expiring contract in which they could go get another max player once Paul George's contract is off the book. So I mean that from that side of it, I can see it. But I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. And I
I
can't
mean,
wait to see.
you
I
made a
put J-
great point though, Dayon. The disrespect from
yeah,
the trade.
that's just
Yeah,
what it's
we're
about.
trading you to the team that beat us because we don't think with you there on that team that they can still beat us. I mean, I hadn't thought about it that way, but that's a great point. That is really disrespectful. Yeah, man, we're gonna trade
And
you to them.
I watched Jaylen Brown. I don't know if he said on his podcast or someone's podcast or at one point, but he was talking about, and I think it was became personal with Brad Stevens from what some of the things I heard him say, because he was like, Brad Stevens didn't believe in him early because when they brought in um, Howard, dang Hayward, what's his name? He played at Burnley with him.
Gordon
Gordon
Hayward.
Hayward.
Gordon Hayward. He
Yeah,
brought in Hayward. And for him to play in Jaylen Brown's spot, he got hurt. Jaylen Brown played so well, that didn't work out. So he was like, from the jump, I just felt like he never really believed in me. I kept getting better and better. Of course, they always seem to like say it's JT's team, it's Jason Tatum's team, it's JT's team, regardless if he won Finals MVP, whatever, whatever. And then I think for this year, he carried him playing so well and being the catalyst to get them to the second seed in the East. And then Jason Tatum still rushed back like the team at some point, like we're like I didn't like that either. And I think that was another shot at him as well. I think I would have took it personal if I was him.
that's fair too because I think Tatum coming back messed up the
Messed
chemistry
up
the
the
team
rhythm.
had. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't understand. From a health perspective, I wouldn't like rushing a player back from that kind of injury. So it was like, yeah, a point. Yeah, we don't want Jaylen to get too much shine here. So yeah, JT, come on back. The more you think about it, it looked personal. You got to talk about He's the seventh best player on the Celtics. Come on, people. Come on.
Yeah,
That's
that's how I know
I
it was
mean,
the narrative. They came out
come on.
and said that Derek White had a better year than him. I think Brian Windhorst said that. Like, what?
Come
Come
on.
on, man.
Yeah, I mean, but you can rationalize it how you want to spin it, spin it how you want to spin it. And of course, the salary cap thing about we didn't want 7% of the cap tied up in two players is two of the top 15 players in the whole league.
Mm-hmm. Because even
Uh,
once he comes off the books, eventually you're gonna try to find another max player,
Yep.
unless you're just gonna have all role players. I mean, because I did watch Brad Stevens' press conference. He was like, "You look at OKC. Well, they do have two max players because what's the name is a max player now. Natal, the post player, he's a max player. So I mean, you're gonna have two max players.
but they made up their mind. They were not going to
Yeah,
give
they did.
Jaylen Brown the new contract extension. So the mind was made up. They traded him to Philly. I mean, bitter rival. I mean, Philly, Boston, that's a hated rival. And they're like, okay, we're still gonna beat you. I mean, we'll see. I think we all agree on this. When the NBA schedule's announced, those Boston Philly games are gonna be on TV,
Oh yeah.
That's gonna be
national
a Christmas
TV,
thing
NBC,
right
Prime,
there.
whatever. That's gonna be must watch TV right there for sure. Get those ratings up. But all right, I mean, it's just okay. Any other the trades are so far. Kawhi going back to Toronto. Let's talk about that. Giannis going to Miami. What are your thoughts on these other moves that have happened so far this NBA offseason?
I'll
I,
start with
oh, go
I'll
ahead. Go
start
ahead.
with I'll start with Giannis to Miami. That's a little bit of a team that it's interesting to see how they make the puzzle pieces work. They got a relatively good starting point with Bam and Giannis, and it's about the role players that they can fill around them, and they're going to need a lot of shooters and floor spacers to be able to make it work. And so far, beyond that, I feel like they've kind of had a quiet follow up to the big trade.
Dayon?
Yeah, the one that sticks out to me is Kawhi. Kawhi going back to Toronto. I really,
Mm-hmm.
really like that move, and I think he's one of the missing pieces to what they need. A closer. I think with all that they have defensively, I think they're going to be a really good team. They had Cleveland up by 20 a couple times and then win those games.
Yep.
Hmm.
And they end up losing. So I think you add to what they have a closer like Kawhi. I think they're going to be a really, really dangerous team. I think the East is going to be low. The East is going to be tough. The East is going to be tough. I
Thank
can't
you for
wait to see.
saying that, brother. Thank you very much.
East is going to be tough. East is going to be tough, no question.
I will say for the Raptors too, I think it's addition by subtraction. Them trading away Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, I mean, Kawhi's a better player than Bi. Kawhi stay healthy. Toronto's a legit threat. Giannis stays healthy. Miami's still behind Toronto. Joel Embiid stays healthy. That's a big if, but you gotta love their rotation, the wing players for sure, guards and wings. It's gonna be fun in the East. All right, I know Dayon is a Mavericks fan, but I want to get his thoughts on OKC and the Spurs in terms of the Rockets. What the Rockets have done so far, Marcus Smart signing him, Bogdanovich signing him.
Mhm.
Have
Mhm.
they narrowed the gap between them and OKC and the Spurs?
It's hard to say, but I definitely think they got better. I definitely
Really?
think they got. I do think they got better. Marcus Smart, who is a proven vet, shot the ball really well from three last year, former defensive player of the year. And you got two outstanding defensive players on the wing with him and Thompson. And then you sprinkle in the rest of their roster. I want to see when Fred VanVleet comes back. I think he gets them organized offensively. The half court set helps them play faster in transition. And then Bogdanovich brings more shooting. And so you just got interchangeable pieces with different lineups that I think they got better in certain areas that can help them. So I need to see their full team. I want to see their full team, but I definitely think with the moves that they have, that they got better and they can compete for sure. I think.
And would you say that if nothing else, these moves mean they can say goodbye to Aaron Holiday?
Oh man, oh yes, oh yes, oh yes, yeah, no question. I mean, you got your 2 point guards with Marcus Smart and Fred VanVleet. And
Andy,
then
what say you? Have they narrowed the gap?
I
I don't
think
know where Reed gets his minutes from.
it all depends on what Fred VanVleet looks like when he comes back. That's going to be the big key for the Houston Rockets. This past season, we saw how teams, the Lakers, late down the stretch in the regular season and in the playoffs, they were sending double teams at Kevin Durant in the regular season, and even when KD didn't play in that Lakers series, they were just packing the paint and they were daring Houston to beat them by hitting outside shots. And there wasn't really a true ball handler on the court for Houston. I
Mm-hmm.
know that they had Thompson, they had Reed Shepard, they had Şengün setting up their offense at time from the top of the key. And it just never looked like anything that Houston did offensively in the playoffs was easy for them. And
Mm-hmm.
like Dayon said, adding Marcus Smart, a different ball handler, another ball handler on the floor, that's going to help in just in terms of making it harder for opposing teams to just pack the paint and send double teams to Durant and Şengün in the post. Even Amon Thompson, they were kind of guarding him like Giannis in terms of building a wall and forcing him to beat them by being a jump shooter. But ultimately, if the Rockets do take a big step, going from being just the fifth seed that was a first round exit to one of the top teams in the Western Conference, it has to be Fred VanVleet, because he could, in many ways, depending on how good he looks when he comes back, is that could serve for the Rockets. Like if they made a big move, a big trade. I know a lot of Rocket fans are frustrated with the lack of splashy moves that Houston has made, but in the Rockets' minds, the splashy move is going to be VanVleet coming back, and hopefully he is able to resemble the player he was before the injury, because he helped Houston a lot a year ago in that 7-game series against Golden State in the first round. He was a key component to that success. I also like, in terms of what Marcus Smart brings, he brings a lot more attitude and just kind of the style that Ime Udoka
Mm-hmm.
likes, which I think the
Tough,
Mm-hmm.
Rockets were
Toughness.
missing. They
Yep.
were missing when they traded away Dylan Brooks, and it's something that this past year's team just didn't have. They honestly never replaced Dylan Brooks, and I think that was another factor that really hurt Houston. And they were quite.
yeah,
I know they ended up with the same record, but the eye test, this year's
yeah.
Rockets team didn't seem as good as the one from last year.
I think you said the right name with Dylan Brooks. I think that's the type of toughness. That's the type of role. That's the type of bravado that he's going to bring. But I think he's the key. I think he allows Fred VanVleet to ease into the season because Fred's coming off an Achilles at an older age. In which last time we seen him, like Andy alluded to in that Golden State series, I believe he had a career playoff series in that series, shot the ball really well. And so I think with Marcus Smart is a real big key because I can see different lineups where him and Thompson is out there together, and and they can just have different lineups. I think that Marcus Smart is a really big pickup for them, especially the way he shot the ball in LA in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, he killed the Rockets.
Yep.
And I think, let me ask both of y'all, with Marcus Smart on the team, this, I think, frees up Reed Shepard to do what I think he's better suited at, is shoot the ball
Catch and
rather than
shoot like
run an offense. Yeah, he's not a point guard.
He's more of a
nah
Tyler
nah.
Hero type of player than a true point
Tyler
guard.
Hero, Bogdanovich type of player. Yep.
And you
Yeah.
saw them bite Houston in the playoffs when LeBron poke checked them. And
As of today, who's a better team, the Rockets or the Lakers?
I mean, it's too different. We haven't even seen the Lakers play. They
yeah,
got a totally different team.
True.
We haven't seen them, so it's hard for me to say that. They got a whole new roster.
And the team is done either. They're going to make more moves between
Yeah,
now
yeah.
and October as
But
well.
just on paper, I like the Rockets. On paper, I like the Rockets.
I would say the Rockets too, and I think the biggest thing is just because it's a huge question mark of what the heck the Lakers are going to look like. Our brand new team.
Yeah.
Oh, I agree. I mean, the Lakers 5 that beat the Rockets in the playoffs is gone.
Mm-hmm.
So Rocket fans, hang your hat on that rather than the silly rumor about Kevin Durant going to the Pistons. Have y'all seen that?
I saw it. I didn't really look into it.
Yeah, I saw it too, but I didn't really look much into it either.
I'm surprised at how many people keep running with this, and I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. I mean, I know people up in Detroit in the organization. No, it's not going to happen. The sources.
I mean, that's your team, Chris. But I'm sorry to cut you off, but
No. Go ahead.
What moves can Detroit make? And Kate Cunningham is one of my favorite young players, if not the favorite players in the league right now, straight out of Dallas. What moves do they need? Because they haven't really done much.
They have not. They have not done anything flashy at all.
Got to bring Durant back too, though. What's your thoughts?
They're going to bring Jaylen back unless he decides to take the qualifying offer, which is only roughly $10 million. He's not going to get the $55 million he's looking for from anybody else other than Detroit. That's not happening. Detroit's not going to give him a 5-year, $287. That's not going to happen. He has a choice. He can take the $35 to $40 million from Detroit per year for 3, 4, 5 years, whatever, or hope that somebody's going to make a better offer. There's no team out there that can make an offer that Detroit won't match. That's what he has to understand. Detroit's going to match any offer, and his agent needs to understand that too. So it's a choice. He can bet on himself, take the qualifying offer of $10 million, and they become a unrestricted free agent next summer, or take 35, 40 million for the next 3, 4, 5 years. What would you do, Andy?
I would take the guaranteed money, and
yes, and I'm not sure salary cap room next summer. I don't know how many teams will have availability to give money once anyway on the market.
Talking about Houston and the example that the Rockets had, reportedly, right? Tari Eason had a much bigger extension on the table last season. And
I forgot about Eason. He's a good re-sign too.
4 years, $100 million.
Turn around this, so that was $25 million per year.
Right.
Turn around
based on some injury clauses too, but yeah, that'd have been the average. Yeah.
Where he's getting 15 per year.
16 and change, yeah.
So he cost himself roughly $10 million. And in all honesty, for Duren, he had a really, really great regular season. He had a terrible postseason. But it's going to be hard to repeat that performance or surpass it for Duren if he only takes a qualifying offer and becomes an unrestricted free agent. Take the guaranteed money and harp on the really, really great regular season that he had.
And I respect and I understand him asking for the max, his agent too, as if no one saw him in the playoffs struggle. But everyone saw you struggle in the playoffs. So you're not going to get max money. And if Detroit has already said we're going to match any offer anyway, what are we doing here?
Okay. His agent, I give me a short contract. Give me a 2-year deal. That way, I'm in a couple of years, I'm back up for free agency, and I can, kind of.
That's what I think he should do. Show Detroit. I'm going to show y'all. Remember, this is years ago. Shaq had this. He was still at the Lakers. He was pissed off at ownership, and he's like, "Okay, y'all not going to pay me. I'm gonna every time I score, do something powerful. I'm gonna look at you on the sideline. You gonna pay me now? You gonna pay me now? Jalen Duren, do that same thing. Be motivated. Y'all gonna pay me now? But Right now, he has no leverage. Being restricted free agent, you have no leverage. The Lakers took your leverage away from him getting Walker Kessler. So you have no leverage. There's nobody else who has the salary cap room to give you what you want that Detroit won't match. All right, that concludes my TED Talk. All right, bottom of the hour of this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. Me, Kris Gardner, with Dunlap and Andy Yanez, the Let's Rage Coogs crew. I'm going to play the BS3 promo so you get a better idea of what BS3 TV is all about. And me and my brother will be back in 90 seconds to talk some Coogs on the field, on the court, and stuff they need to improve on. You're watching this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break, Throwback Thursday style. Takeover is powered by JM&E, and we will be back in 90 seconds.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.
Welcome back to this edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover of the Lunch Break. Takeover is powered by JM&E. I am Kris Gardner of the Houston Roundball Review. Joining me is Andy Yanez from Pod Slamma Jamma, as well as Dunlap from Pod Slamma Jamma. But the three of us, we are part of the Let's Rage Coogs post-game show, the original post-game show for Houston football and men's basketball. All right, fellas. Andy, you want to share, or Dayon? You want to share your thoughts on the Big 12 Football Media Day that just completed? Coach Fritz and players were there. Your thoughts on that? Or do you want to talk? Hold that thought, fellas, if you don't mind. I want to get your thoughts on the partnership or the announcement that Commissioner Brett Yormark announced with the conference and Monster Energy. Roughly $20 million, a jersey patch, as well as branding on the courts, on the field, Monster Energy football, Big 12 football, Monster Energy Big 12 basketball. Is that money roughly $1 million per school? Is that too low? Should have got a better deal as a conference overall.
Shoot. So that it's going to be on the field based on what I read during the season next to the Big 12, or where the Big 12 logo is supposed to be.
Be a co-deal. So it'd be Big 12 and Monster Energy like side by side in the logo.
I mean, in a perfect world, if you could get more, we just talked about Jaylen Brown and trying to take the guaranteed money, but based on, I think it was one of the articles that you sent, Kris, where the Big 12 had been talking with different sponsors. I think one of them was Allstate about potentially doing something in the past year. That obviously didn't work out, and they partnered with Monster. based on that, I would say that this is the best offer that they could have gotten on the market right now. And if it's $1 million per institution, it's $1 million, and each institution can use it however they see fit, and it's not really gonna hurt any of the schools other than the fact that you're gonna see a monster logo on the field on game days. I think that's the highest they could have gotten based on just the fact that they didn't get a deal with Allstate.
Yeah, I'm uncertain the amount that they couldn't get. I'm not sure what other kind of deals with other companies, other conferences have. I know you see Allstate in the back of the field goals. So that's a good deal, but like Andy kind of said, I mean, it's $1 million going to your school just for, to display a logo. I think that's good money that could be used in areas in which we know Houston can really use it.
And we don't know if they had other offers for more money. I'm going to say no. This is what they accepted, and the ADs, the directors of athletics, they all voted on this as well. But one thing that I think is kind of my take on it is this deal does not stop the schools from getting their own deal. Like Kansas Athletics announced a sponsorship patch, logo, whatever you want to call it, with a crypto company. They'll have their jersey patch on all of their KU teams. That's money that's going to KU. So hopefully, now we're going to talk money specifically pertaining to Houston Athletics and where this is going to go. This Big 12 conference-wide deal should not stop Andy Nunez and the Coogs from getting their own jersey patch sponsorship for more money. So that's my hope. I hope the Cougs do that. So the $1 million from this deal is low-hanging fruit. All you got to do is stay a member of the Big 12. Now you go get that huge, what is it? HEB, I'm going to say it. I don't like saying that, but just as an example. What if HEB became a sponsor for more money for Houston, specifically Houston? It's up to Nunez to get that done. What do y'all say about that?
Agree 1,000%. I think going back to the deal, the fact that it doesn't limit institutions to only that monster brand or sponsorship is huge for each individual school, because they can go out there and like you said, Chris, the $1 million could be the baseline, the minimum, just for having space on the jersey. And Houston definitely needs to do its due diligence and get its own sponsorship, because like Dayon said, there's no such thing as enough money when it comes to University of Houston athletics. They need every bit of every dollar they can get.
I think you guys said it well. I mean, why not have multiple? You can have a jersey patch, one on a jersey, one on a helmet.
The warm-up jerseys, the shooting shirts. I mean, I think some folks are afraid of, this is a national concern from college fans, of having, like a NASCAR, too many logos and stuff like that. But money's money. Do it right, do it constructively. Money's money.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line, because Houston Athletics, we are not wealthy. Okay? We need to do a better job getting money as an athletic department. And they need to pursue as many different avenues to get that done, as in addition to the corporations, the big ones, but also the mid-sized ones and the lower tier ones. That money adds up. We've said this on our Let's Rate Coog shows. We're going to keep saying it until it changes for the better. Houston has to do a better job of monetization of its product. So what can be done? Dayon, you first. What can be done? What should be done for Houston to do a better job monetizing its product?
Well, first, content. We in a era of content. And so producing more content in esports, but within that, you can create, not even create, well, I guess create is a word. You can start to build followings for individual coaches. We can lead to t-shirts, can lead to quotes, it can lead to um, so many different areas. But I think within the area of social media, starting there, I think they can monetize a lot more with social media. I think I really liked how they got out and traveled. They went to down to Coach Fritz and Coach Sampson. But even with Coach Fritz, like that, for example, I didn't see many videos of Coach Fritz, him speaking. I saw a lot of videos, Coach Sampson saying talking with different alums and people. And so just different things like that. Putting it out, letting people know a better job of marketing themselves, being more, it's a lot of different things, but I'll just start there.
Andy, what do you say?
You know, piggybacking on what Dayon said about more content, there was, I don't know if this is a mini series or as we were getting closer to the NBA draft, I think that Chris Cenac had some type of like series. It was kind of following him as he was preparing for the NBA draft.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's something that, like Dayon said, why not do that with the athletes while they're still at the University of Houston? Even now, I mean, you could have had chronicles from Big 12 Media Day, traveling up there, even if it's just online posts. And
Everything's a post, like you saying, from hey, we're boarding the plane. You see them boarding the plane and hey, we on the plane. Like everything's a post. You can never post too much, and it's free to post. That's the thing, is free to post. And so I'm sorry to cut you off, but I mean you're right. Everything's a post. From Coach Sampson call, hey, right now get the video of this. Coach Sampson calling or getting a call from one of the players. They ask some questions and they talk about it, but that's content that you can put out. Coach, this team's calling me, what you think? And it cut it there. You don't have to put the whole thing on there, but that's just content that they can put out. And which I see it with Colorado. Colorado, they put that type of content out, but they still have the ability to micro every single thing that come out because they reviewing it. All you gotta do is no, I don't want that out. Just simple, hey, coming into the team meetings, new, like there's so much stuff that they can clip and put out. They just don't do it. Sorry to cut you off, Andy.
no, I mean, going back to the partnership that U of H has when it comes to their meet, like they have to get, in my opinion, they have to get more out of their partnership with Learfield or whatever that deal is.
Oh yeah,
Because
For sure.
it's just not, it's just not enough. And I mean, they've taken baby steps with, looking at the Kelvin Sampson, the post-game press conferences that they have. Now they had a sponsor this past season. I think they did it for this past season. It might be 2 or 3 seasons now where his post-game press conference sponsored by Frenchies, right? Stuff like that where, an opportunity to, at the end of the day, you're putting a logo on the screen and you're getting bucks for it. And like Dayon said, Chris, like you mentioned as well, every little bit adds up. And I don't know if it'll segue to we were talking about before we got on stage, but right now there's just a lot of opportunities that are being missed. And it's not just us saying it. There's people throughout related to University of Houston and follow athletics that they feel more could be done. Because I think there is a handful. I think there's more than a handful. I think there's a plethora of UH athletic supporters that are looking for ways to support the program. But in all honesty, I think that they want to see more. Maybe they don't feel. Well, not maybe. I feel like a lot of people don't feel like the support, if they do give it, is, how do I put this, being used wisely, or if there's necessarily putting
return on investment.
There we go. ROI. That's the best thing. The ROI is not there yet. And I don't know if we're going to talk about it straight, but just in terms of NIL and directly supporting, shout out to the Scott and Home podcast guys who put this out on July 8th that we're recording this, but they got reached out by linking Coogs. And basically they were asked, why did you stop donating? And to the summarized version. If you want to see the full post, go follow them on X and check out what they put. But the ROI was not there for the average Coug supporter, whether you're donating $10 a month, $35 a month, or $100 a month. Basically, for all three of those different packages, mind you, if you're looking at it from an annual perspective, you could from as little to $120 a year to that's $1,200 a year for $100 per month. They basically are going to get the same perks, which was a 10% discount on the store. If you donate $35 and $100 a month, then you get a newsletter. Now, I don't know what the heck they have in those newsletters, but I don't think a newsletter could be, blow your socks off that much. That'll make it worth it just donating $1,200 a year. And like you said, Kris, I think it starts there just in terms of ROI, the return of investment. And it goes across beyond just linking Cougs, but just in terms of content and much more that could be had. If you are posting more, like Dayon said, those are opportunities to attract consumers. And ultimately, at the end of the day, your supporters, they are going to love any type of behind-the-scenes content. And you don't have to really give them behind-the-scenes content, right? We don't need to see a full practice, but we just need stuff that makes it feel like fans can have a peek behind the curtain, how the magic gets made, for lack of a better term. And right now, I don't think that's there, and it kind of leads to apathy, for lack of a better word, and not enough average donations, which, like you said, Kris, add up. If we have 100 people that are donating $10 a month, that adds up. We're gonna do that. That's $1,000 a month. So every little bit, it takes a village.
Great points. And I think, we've talked on this and then beating the dead horse. I hope the horse isn't dead, but there needs to be a change for the better. And you touched on this, Andy. I think, Dayon, you kind of co-signed it. Learfield, what is Learfield doing to bring in more advertising dollars to UH athletics? And I'm not trying to be a hater. I'm being very serious. What are they doing with corporation dollars and sponsorship toward the Cougs? Because I think Learfield was responsible or helped arrange the deal that KU has with the crypto partner. And that person is a KU alum. And I know we got wealthy alums at UH. I know we do. I choose to believe it. Hell, I know we do. But have they been contacted? Have they been asked to contribute to support Houston Cougars athletics? Or is it just the same group of folks? They don't want to talk to me at all, so I'm not going to bother. But while we're shaking our head, Couging it, I want to thank the folks who support the Houston Roundball Review. And those folks are, these are members of the Houston Roundball Review Business Directory online. First things first, the African Center of Wellbeing, B Elite Basketball, Byron Riley CPA, the Pinto Leon Law Firm, Star Pizza, United Sports and Entertainment, VIP Realty, and of course the Saxenian family. And some of those names you've seen on Let's Rate Cougs and Pod Slamma Jamma. But if you want to join them in the online business directory, simply email advertise@thehrr.com. Once again, advertise at thehrr.com. Some folks say but advertise at thehrr.com. And it's less than $1 a week. And I'm happy to say, as we kind of touched on it, providing folks content, behind the scenes content. Just a little bit of info I posted on the Houston Roundball Review Facebook page regarding the contracts for Kingston Flemings, Emanuel Sharp, and Kris Cenac. I think that little info, along with a picture, has helped generate the 100,000 views on the page the last month. Just you give fans something they want, curiosity. Just give them something extra. And I'm getting more followers on that page as well. So I think behind the scenes is a great idea for the Cougs to provide more of, for Coach Fritz, for Coach Sampson, Coach Davis, baseball coach, all the coaches, volleyball, everybody. behind the scenes look of what's going on with those particular programs. But do you guys have any corporation or company like in mind that you think would be a great partner for UH athletics? And if anyone's watching from Houston Athletics and you talk to them, it's okay if you want to give us a consulting fee. It's no problem.
I know you mentioned them. I think the HEB logo on a jersey would look clean on a U of H jersey, just in terms of the red. And there's no bigger brand in Texas. Shoot, reach out to Buc-ee's. Why can't you do something with Buc-ee's? You're talking about big time corporations in Houston. A lot of the energy companies that
Maybe
are
make
based here in the city of Houston.
Exxon Mobil.
Yeah, Axon is another company that would look great on the.
I mean, there's got to be some UH alums in the Exxon pipeline. Work there up the chain, the corporate ladder. Got to be. In all these years, there hasn't been a partnership established between UH and Exxon Mobil. I think that's got to change. Stop relying on Tillman. I thought about this a few days ago, and it's really, the Scott Holman podcast kind of hammered it home for us. There's got to be, there is a disconnect between UH athletics and the city and corporations, because it's been the same thing for so many years. We're not, and I'm saying we because we are alums and we are proud alums, but people and corporations are not contributing. So is it because Houston is doing the same old thing, but expecting different results? I mean, what is it? Have they pissed off folks so much that they don't want to even consider contributing to UH? Are the corporations like, no, you guys are too small for us? Or you burned the bridge based on years ago? What is it? What do you think it is?
I think what they can control, and which kind of what we've been kind of alluding to, is becoming a bigger national brand. I think Coach Sampson really, really gave a good soundbite, which I'll just kind of paraphrase, in which the basketball program success that they have having is helping the Houston brand become a national brand. And I think, like I've been saying, with creating more content with videos, this is one of the prominent ways in this era to reach more and more and more people, to where maybe it was a relationship, like kind of Kris said, that maybe 10, 20, whatever the case may be, but you reach the person in younger ways who may be over that just hasn't seen the logo, see the brand, to be like, you know what, let me go back home to Houston, or whether it be an alum or someone who's just from Houston and had admiration for the school. So I think it really, really starts with trying to market the brand and in all areas, all sports in different ways to become a bigger brand. Because even basketball, although with reaching the NCAA tournament, which gives them that bigger stage, they still drop the ball on becoming an even bigger brand, but not pushing more content with the players that they have that's coming in, year out. Just think about the players they could have had. Andy just talked about with Kris Cenac, how he kind of had the behind the scenes series. I mean, just think about a video right here. Think about this right now. We get the same video from UH every year when the players just get to campus. And what is that? When they're running on the baseball field, that first video when they're running out. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But just think about if you get video of individual players, whether it's just tying up their shoes and soundbite, like how you feel coming out of your first, like those type of intimate videos that you can put with the same ones that you've been doing to not only build the individual brands, but to get more content, push more, let people see you. And like they're seeing more to like, okay, now from throughout the season, after Kingston's big 40-point game, I can't remember if he spoke to the media or not, but why not go after Kingston's 40-point shoes. What you gonna do with these shoes? Or what? There's so many different random things that's popping in my head. That's like that you can use to be able to market. And I think it all starts with marketing, the brand overall as a whole.
And videos like that you can put on YouTube. You build your YouTube channel up, then it's gonna be another revenue
Too
source.
short. Yep.
You
I
know,
don't think
and
it would
I do wonder.
view YouTube as a avenue. I mean, as revenue, like as they
Yeah,
should.
if I don't, I mean, I probably have to find out. Can can the colleges, are they allowed to monetize their YouTube channels? Because if they are, tap into that.
They
Because
have to, right?
you know, I don't. I mean, you know, the NCAA, who knows? But I'm
Yeah,
just
who knows?
putting it
They
out there,
have
you
to.
know.
Yeah.
But if they are allowed to tap into that. But I'm also I'm tossing a rock at Learfield. What are they doing to provide these sponsorship dollars for UH? Work with UH. I mean, the coaches, the marketing departments for each specific team have to do their part too. But in terms of bringing in the corporations, that's got to come from somebody. We can't expect the coaches to go out and get the corporate dollars. You know, that should not be part of their job. Now, going on the caravan and talking to some alums, things like that, okay. But going out and talking to Exxon or HEB or, you know, big time corporations, that should not be up to a coach. That should be somebody else's, like, that should be Learfield's job. Is Learfield doing that? If they are doing that, they haven't done a very good job, because where are the dollars? Where are the huge dollars? When are we going to see? Is it going to be this season, football season, men's hoop season? Hear about a huge sponsorship deal for UH athletics. When is that going to happen? Naming rights. When is that going to happen? We've been waiting on it for a long time. For the stadium. What happened?
Yeah. That's a big one. Just keep getting punted. And Chris, this is the only thing I'll say to your point about what Learfield has done for U of H. From our experience, they've really only limited the exposure for U of H in terms of how much UH content can be put out there. And I'll leave it at that.
Let's wrap it up right there. I mean, because that's where it is. And we can talk about this. And I invite Dayon and Andy and hopefully Fluff in the future. Let's do this kind of regularly. Have you guys be part of the takeover. And let's let folks know who you guys are on Roku via the BS3 Network. And then we're going to really start football season and hoop season so everybody knows what Let's Rate Coogs is all about. So, Dan, you first, brother. How can folks follow you on social media?
You can follow me on all social media platforms at Dayon Dunlap. Also, shout out, follow us at Cenac Jr on all social media. Also, check out the Underrated podcast on Instagram and on YouTube as well. Be sure to like and subscribe.
Andy, you too, brother. How can folks follow you?
First, Chris, thank you for having us on here on the Houston Roundball Review Takeover, powered by JM&E. People can follow me on X at Ayanez_5, like Dayon said, at PodSlamajama on X. Follow Let's Reach Coogs on Instagram and TikTok and on YouTube. On all of our social media platforms, there's a couple of clips from Big 12 Media Day from head coach Willie Fritz and some of the sound bites that he had about his quarterback room and kind of modeling Houston to have that national success with football and the blueprint that Kelvin Sampson has established for the football program and all the other programs in UH athletics, according to Fritz. Even some clips from Big 12 Commissioner Brett Yormark. He had a very interesting media day and kind of got poked by some Texas Tech reporters with that whole source fee fiasco. So check us out on those platforms. Give us a follow if you haven't done so already. And again, Chris, thank you.
My pleasure, fellas. We're going to do it again. Everybody, hit the like button on the video on YouTube as you're watching it. Watch us on Roku. Watch us on YouTube at the Houston Roundball Review YouTube channel. Until next Thursday for the next edition of the Houston Roundball Review Takeover. Y'all know it. And if you don't know it, now you will know it. Since 1994, the Houston Roundball Review, local name, global perspective. Everyone, take care, and we are